The 2021 Women on Boards indicator reached 16.7%, as per the annual monitoring report issued by AUC Egypt Women on Boards Observatory. Egypt Women on Boards indicator marked 16.7% in 2021, compared to 13% in 2020 and 10% in 2019. We are more than halfway to reaching the 2030 target of having 30% women on board. Egypt Women on Boards Observatory, founded in 2017 by AUC School of Business, is recognized as a specialized observatory within the framework of the National Council for Women. It aims to increase the representation of women on corporate boards in Egypt to reach 30% by 2030. The 2021 Women on Boards Annual Monitoring Report is the fourth edition of the report, which was first launched in 2018. It tracks the representation of women on the boards of EGX-listed companies, the banking sector, the public enterprise sector, and the non-banking financial sector, supervised and regulated by the Financial Regulatory Authority. The report also identifies the gender gap to reach the 2030 target of 30% women on board. In the following section, we will review the key takeaways of each category in 2021. The 241 EGX-listed companies witnessed an overall upward trend, increasing from 9.7% in 2017, reaching 15.2% in 2021. EGX-listed companies are halfway towards achieving the 2030 goal of having 30% women on board. EGX-listed companies succeeded in decreasing the number of companies with zero women on board from 102 in 2020 to only 36 in 2021, a decline of around 66 companies in 1 year. On the other hand, companies with at least one woman on board have significantly increased, from 137 companies in 2020 to 205 companies in 2021. 8% of EGX-listed companies, 19 companies, have achieved 30% women on board in 2021. 29 women need to be added annually to the boards of EGX-listed companies to reach the 2030 target of 30%. The 34 banks, including the Central Bank of Egypt, witnessed a slight improvement in the representation of women on boards, increasing from 13.7% in 2020 to 14.2% in 2021, following a relatively steady pattern. Women on boards of banks in 2021 are almost halfway towards achieving the 30% target by 2030. Despite the improvement in the representation of women on boards of banks in 2021, the number of banks with zero women on board increased from 7 banks in 2020 to 8 banks in 2021. The number of banks with at least one woman on board has decreased between 2020 and 2021. 6% of banks, 2 banks, have reached the target of having 30% women on board in 2021. 5 women need to be added annually to the boards of banks to reach the 2030 target. The 94 public enterprise companies encountered a slight decline, reaching 8.1% in 2021 compared to 8.7% in 2020. It is worth mentioning that the Ministry of Public Enterprise has developed a reform plan for restructuring public enterprise companies, which was reflected in a decrease in the total number of companies from 114 in 2020 to 94 companies in 2021. In addition, the number of women on boards decreased from 38 in 2020 to 36 women in 2021. The Women on Boards indicator decreased from 8.7% in 2020 to 8.1% in 2021. The overall indicator of the public enterprise sector needs to be tripled in the next 9 years to achieve the goal of 30% women on board. The percentage of public enterprise companies with zero women on board decreased from 71.9% in 2020 to 62.8% in 2021. The number of companies with zero women on board decreased from 82 companies in 2020 to 59 in 2021. The percentage of public enterprise companies with at least one woman on board increased from 28.1% in 2020 to 37.2% in 2021, while the number of public enterprise companies with at least one woman on board increased from 32 companies in 2020 to 35 in 2021. 5.3% of public enterprise companies, 5 companies, have reached the target of having 30% women on board in 2021. 10 women need to be added annually to the boards of public enterprise companies to reach the 2030 target. The 631 non-banking financial sector companies significantly improved reaching 18.6% in 2021, compared to 14.7% in 2020. It is the highest Women on Boards indicator across all categories. The overall Women on Boards indicator of the non-banking financial sector in 2021 shows that they are the closest to achieving 30% by 2030, where the sector requires an increase of 11.4% to reach its goal. The percentage of non-banking financial sector companies with zero women on board decreased from 47.5% in 2020 to 19.7% in 2021. The number of companies with zero women on board decreased from 277 companies in 2020 to 124 in 2021. The percentage of non-banking financial sector companies with at least one woman on board increased substantially from 52.6% in 2020 to 80.3% in 2021. The number of non-banking financial sector companies with at least one woman on board increased from 306 companies in 2020 to 507 companies in 2021. 17.8% of non-banking financial sector companies, that is 112 companies, reached the 30% target of women on board in 2021. 48 women need to be added annually to the boards of non-banking financial sector companies to reach the 2030 target. The overall gap in the above categories is 830 women to reach the 30% target in 2030. Annually, 92 women are needed to join the boards of companies and banks to reach the 2030 target of 30% women on board. 29 women in EGX-listed companies, 5 women in banks, 10 women in public enterprise companies, and 48 women in non-banking financial sector companies. To support companies to reach the 2030 target, Egypt Women on Boards Observatory has compiled a database of Egyptian board-ready women that reached over 700 qualified candidates in 26 economic sectors, with diverse areas of expertise and educational background. The observatory also provides board placement service to companies requesting qualified women directors to support them in realizing the benefits of increased diversity and improved corporate governance. Partners of Egypt Women on Boards Observatory bring together government, business associations, research institutions, international organizations, and non-government organizations. Egypt Women on Boards Observatory works with a number of regional and national networks, including the 30% Club MENA chapter, the Boardroom Africa, Business Women of Egypt 21, and the Top 50 Most Influential Women Forum. Good corporate governance helps firms improve performance, drive growth, and manage risk. To be truly effective, a board requires a diversity of skills and perspectives. Research shows that 1 woman is a token, 2 is presence, and 3 is voice.